what is estrogen dominance?
Yeah, absolutely. Because estrogen dominance is a big medical term, and it's so funny because being or having a Western medicine background as a physician assistant, I didn't know what estrogen dominance was. And it wasn't until I got into functional medicine I heard this term and I'm like, okay, what is this? But it basically is just talking about this imbalance of estrogen and progesterone in the body. Because if we understand how hormones work, especially in women, our hormones are constantly fluctuating throughout our menstrual cycle. And we tend to have estrogen that gets produced in the first phase, which is the follicular phase, but we also get a little bit of estrogen during our second phase, which is the luteal phase. And then we also, during the luteal phase, get that production of progesterone, which we don't in the follicular phase. So we're always having estrogen in our system. So it's really important in the follicular phase, the second half of our menstrual cycle, that we produce progesterone, because progesterone does help balance out the effects of too much estrogen in the body. It helps create that healthy balance. The problem is when there isn't enough progesterone in the system, or there's enough progesterone but there's a lot of estrogen. And what I discovered was that there are three different types of estrogen dominance. And this is very, very important, because when you go to treat someone that you suspect has hormonal imbalances and estrogen dominance, not everyone should be treated the same. And you can even Google it. You can Google estrogen dominance treatment and they'll lay out all the supplements, but you have to be so careful. So the three patterns of estrogen dominance that I would see is normal progesterone levels and high estrogen levels. The second one was low progesterone and normal estrogen. And then the third was low progesterone and high estrogen. And now that was the most common that I would see: low progesterone and higher levels of estrogen. And this is why it's important to understand the pattern, because when you Google the treatment, they'll recommend DIM, which is great. It helps support the metabolism of estrogen, but not every woman needs it. And you can actually feel worse when you take it. It can actually cause headaches and really worsening of your menstrual cramps. So you have to be very, very careful and work with someone who has this understanding. And also Vitex. Vitex is a wonderful herb, which helps to naturally support progesterone levels. But if you have PCOS, like you did, it can actually make your PCOS worse, because what it does is it increases a hormone called luteinizing hormone, LH. So normally we should have a 1-to-1 ratio of a follicular stimulating hormone, which is FSH, to LH. But in women with PCOS, they have a 1-to-3 ratio. So if you take Vitex, because, I think I have estrogen dominance, I need to support my progesterone, it can make the PCOS worse. So you have to be very, very, very careful and, work with someone who's going to do the testing to figure out, one, is it present? And two, which type of pattern is presenting, so that way the practitioner knows how to best support your hormones.
So is there a way other than testing to know which one you have?
That's a great, great question. It's really difficult. I mean, some practitioners can start their patients and clients on specific supplements, like one at a time. I always recommend do it one at a time, especially if you're not testing, because if you throw a lot of supplements at a person and all of a sudden they feel worse, you don't know which one's making them worse. So, worst case, if there is suspected estrogen dominance, you could always start on one supplement like DIM, for example. And if you start to feel worse, then okay, your body probably doesn't need it. But for me, I love to do the testing first. And even if it's just blood work, you can get blood work done through your primary doctor just to look at the hormones, especially women. It's really important to look at it, get the testing done during the luteal phase. It's a specific time of the cycle to really see, that ratio of progesterone and estrogen in the system. And so, for example, if you have a regular 28-day cycle, which actually most women do not have a 28-day cycle, but to make it easy, the best day, which I call the peak day, is day 21. So that's basically 7 days before you start your period, is the best time to check that. But if you have like a 30-day cycle, that's going to be day 23. So working with someone who understands like when is going to be the best time is going to be helpful. But to me, like, I like to just know exactly what I'm treating, and I get that from the test.